So the last video dealt with kind of like, well, I guess smuggling is kind of it. I guess that's what we're going to be doing for the summer. And it's safe, because crime stat obviously is something that you should want to avoid. Oh, and by the way, if you do escape and get to keep your prison outfit like I did, don't make the mistake that I'm about to make, which is to take it off to go and get a drink, because once you take it off, you can't put it back on again. Oops. But getting back on topic, smuggling, I guess that is going to be it for the summer. If we were trapped within the framework of smuggling was basically as far as we were going to go with criminal behavior in the Stanton system, or as far as is practically rewarding, as far as that is worthwhile for you, for time spent, would that be so bad? I don't think so. If smuggling itself were iterated upon, I kind of wish that it was. I mean, there was a while ago, I think right before the release of 3.8, one of the dev interviews said we almost got to the point of being able to do hacking for other players, like hacking other players' crime stat to remove it. But we I guess we didn't do it, or we didn't have the time. I forget the exact explanation for it, but I remember that they mentioned that they were very close to being able to do that. And I was really disappointed by that, but to a certain degree, I did understand. I mean, you would be talking about really developing a whole new system, and hopefully CIG's looking at hacking, which is right now just dropping a chip into a computer and letting it hack the computer for you, and saying, nah, we can do something better, and so why iterate on a system that we're going to dump? I mean, when you look at them and you see them iterating on mining, I can kind of understand it, because the groundwork is already there. Mining is already an established career in the Star Citizen universe. It's already something that functions. Would I like to see salvage instead? Sure. But at the same time, I understand that doing salvage is probably involves a lot of developer time and a lot of work, whereas iterating on a system that's already established and already functional is a lot easier. And I think that if we're trapped within those constraints and we're looking for easier ways that we can iterate on established systems, I think smuggling is something that perhaps could be iterated on far more easily than a lot of people really think. We know that in the future we're going to be getting missions where it's no longer just the little cubic crate, pick up this crate, take it to this location, drop it off. We know that in the future we're going to be getting missions that are generated that say carry the larger format cargo crates, carry much more high risk, potentially much higher reward. And I would like to see those missions make it into the game, but at the same time, I don't want them to make it into the game the way they exist now. I want them to come in with, now instead of just getting the little box of gasping weevil eggs, instead the game tells you, you have to take a full cargo haul, or a full cargo hold full of gasping weevil eggs, and by the way, it rewards a lot of money, but there are people out there looking for you and looking for this cargo. So the Nine Tails, the Dusters are out trying to stop you because they want to steal the cargo. The cops are out trying to stop you, and because they just don't want the illegal drugs to be manufactured. I'm assuming the gasping weevil eggs is like a reagent that they use to make the drugs. But I think that by adding in different complicating factors to increase the reward is a good idea. The missions that exist right now are really boring. They really are. And I think that since salvage, I wish salvage was an existing system. Since smuggling is an existing system and it's something that can be iterated on, I would like to see the missions come up with more surprises. Certainly when we have a ship like the Star Runner coming ever and ever closer to release, that maybe that justifies a little rework of the smuggling system, and upping the rewards, but also upping the risk. making it much more challenging to do. When I hear developers talking about, oh, in the future, we're going to iterate on the prison system, we're going to make it so that, oh, the oxygen machine has run out of oxygen, so if you bring it down there and you recharge it, then you're going to get extra demerits, or not demerits, but like extra Americurrency, whatever it is, to get out of prison earlier and stuff like that. And I see that and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, it doesn't matter. Prison sucks because it's supposed to suck. It's meant to suck. It is fulfilling its purpose by sucking. Things like smuggling, that's where the iteration is needed. Things to liven it up. I think that even the people who would sit there and say like, oh, every active PvP is griefing and so on and so forth, would agree that even when you're surprisingly attacked by NPCs and stuff like that, it makes the game more interesting. It makes the game more fun. And I think that just kind of taking this approach where you're kind of going like, oh, well, 15,000 credits. All right, pitter patter, let's get at her. It's not good. There needs to be a chase. There needs to be a challenge. And now I understand that there's a lot of things, like maybe one day in the future we can kind of dupe somebody else's ship ID so that if we run away from the cops, we don't really get busted, or we don't get the crime stat for it and things like that. Maybe there's room for that type of gameplay in the future once those systems have been kind of brought into the game. But even given what we have right now, the missions are just, they're really terrible, And I think that within the established parameters of the missions that we already have in game, or within the boundaries of what they've established as functional in the game, we should expect a little something more out of these missions. And I don't think that they should be iterating on prisons. I think that they should be iterating on the smuggling missions themselves and the other criminal behavior in the Star Citizen universe. Not to make it quote unquote easier, but to make it more interesting and more fun to engage with as a system. The truth is like, you're improving a system that people, once again, are supposed to avoid, rather than improving the system that people use to experience the game and experience the universe. Yeah, it's the new thing, it's the flashy thing, hey, we're going to do more with it. I think that that's kind of a waste of time, at least at this juncture in the game's development. I think that the core gameplay options that players have are what need that developer time. If you're not going to spend it making more new systems to add into the game, like salvage and hacking and things like that, then you should definitely iterate on these core systems, and not this thing that happens if you're a bad boy in the game. To me, that just feels, it's demoralizing. It feels like misspent resources. It's just like, okay, you've got prison, put it to bed. Let's look at what we have then. If you have this free developer time, why not use it on the things that everyone has access to, or most players have access to? Even on the law-abiding mission side where you're carrying cargo, those missions are awful. Absolutely awful. I don't really think I know anybody who really does those to make money. And maybe if you were running legitimate cargo from, Deacon's research lab down on Yella, and you had to bring X amount of drug samples to ArcCorp, but those drug samples also happen to be an ingredient for ETAM or Widow or something like that, and so you're gonna be running a gauntlet to try to get that through. I think that would be a lot more interesting and would definitely do something more for the persisting universe than just saying, hey, we're adding new candy bars to the prison and new missions. It's just, who cares, I don't know. That's my opinion. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.